Hey, what's up, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Welcome back to the VIP Financial Education YouTube channel. This is where we help you safely go further, faster financially. And today I want to talk with you about a concept that I've been thinking a lot about over the last couple of months that we call the zero to Bezos scale. Now, I'm reading up on this article regarding Jeff Bezos on money.com that was printed almost a year ago. Money.com says that it took Jeff Bezos, based on where his net worth peaked at 168 billion over that growth for the prior year, just 1 minute to earn $160,000. 1 minute to make $160,000. When his net worth was at its lowest in 2018, he made only $67,790 in a minute. That poor guy. Now, if we do the math on this, which is just fascinating to me, we take $67,790, we multiply that times 60 minutes in an hour. He's pulling down over $4 million an hour based on his lowest net worth in 2018, which means that over the course of one day, 24 hours, he's just shy of $100 million in earnings. $97,617,000, folks. Now, if that isn't at least somewhat motivating to you, then we don't share the same mentality. I look at that as opportunity. This is the current world record holder for human potential when it comes to how much money you can make, and all of us have equal opportunity. Now, he may be savvier than us, he may be somewhat smarter than us, but he's certainly not more deserving than you. He certainly doesn't have more hours in the day than you do. So we have to realize that even if our potential was just a fraction of what his is, let's just say that you're only 1/10 as capable as Jeff Bezos. Would you take $10 million a day, right? What about $1 million a day at 1% as capable? I think you get my point. So let's go ahead and look at how this actually happens, folks, okay? On this graph, we're gonna use an income axis and what I call a millionaire resource unit axis. Okay, this is your knowledge, the tools, the various websites, things like CRMs, things like autoresponders, things that make businesses work are all going to be part of the millionaire resource units. And it all starts with products, programs, and services. Now, I had somebody recently challenging me at an event that I was teaching for Aspen Financial last week. Don't do nearly as many live events this year as I did in the past. But I had somebody come up and actually say, wow, your coaching at $300 per month based on the referral discount is expensive. And I said, relative to what, right? I don't think that's expensive. Jeff Bezos doesn't think that's expensive. So what makes something expensive? Well, what makes something expensive to me is all based on return on investment, right? If I was to pay even say $3,000 per month, which I pay much more than that to have a team around me, I pay most of my team members substantially more than $3,000 per month. If they're bringing in say $10,000 or $15,000 or $30,000 per month, well, I'm happy to make that investment. So $300 a month is really only a concept based on what you're getting in exchange for it. So when I look at the zero to Bezos, is that how his name's spelled? Scale, right? We've got, let's say $1 million per year, right? I want to teach every single person who visits this channel how to make $1 million per year. Now, I would have previously thought that was an unimaginable, unachievable level for myself. In fact, I grew up thinking $100,000 per year was my goal. That was when I knew I had made it, was when I was able to hit 6 figures. And I spent 20 years of my life beating that into my own mind. All I have to do is make 100 grand, 100 grand, 100 grand, 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures. And it was easy to achieve. And so I had to break through my own barriers to start earning 7 figures a year, because I had initially never thought it was possible. So what I'm gonna do is create on this income axis 10 $100,000 achievement levels, okay? So this is 200,000, 300,000, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 million per year. On the millionaire resource units axis, we're also gonna have 10 achievement points. And this is where we're learning again about how to actually create wealth. And we learn that by gaining knowledge through products, programs, and services. Now, a lot of knowledge is available for free now, but in order to take the next step and get access to a lot of the actual pre-existing roadmaps, the proven roadmaps that you see other people following, you're usually going to have to spend money for it. I spend a considerable amount of money in order to do this. Now, in order to be conservative, I'm going to say that the average product, program, or service is $10,000. Most of them are much, much less than this. Most of the products and programs that are virtual online at this point, you can pick up for hundreds of dollars. Whereas, say, Dan Locke's high-ticket closer product was $2,500, and no problem paying for that, right? If I have to hire somebody, chances are I'm gonna spend way more than $10,000 to that person. I might even spend $10,000 per month for that person. So $10,000 is just sort of a middle of the road average I wanna use to make my point. If I were to spend, say, $10,000 9 different times, okay, I would have an expectation for every $10,000 that I spend. I would have an expectation that I'm gonna walk away with millionaire resource units. I'm gonna gain knowledge, I'm gonna know about tools that I wasn't aware of before, and I'm gonna grow from that here on this scale. Now, what I find interesting is that as you're making these early investments, you're not gonna see huge amounts of income in return for those investments. You're simply growing your awareness and knowledge so that when you say make your third investment in a product, a program, or a service, you might, because of the compounding effect of what you took away from these other 2 products or programs or services, be able to see a kind of hockey stick return on that investment, and all of a sudden you're making $200,000 a month. And it wasn't solely because of this third investment, it was because you're compounding and stacking what you gained from these 2 investments into that third one, where all of a sudden it just clicks. Now all of a sudden you're making $200,000, and you're still investing in yourself. You're buying new products, programs, and services, and maybe you have another $30,000, $40,000 invested, and all of a sudden, boom, it flies up. This is exactly the path that it went for me. The difference for me was that it took me $600,000. I spent just over $600,000 using debt weapons that I borrowed money from and leveraged into believing in myself enough so where I was confident that the income would eventually follow, that I would take enough pieces from those previous products, programs, and services that when I found the right one, I would see this skyrocketing effect in results. And that's exactly what happened. Now, a lot of people looked at me like I was absolutely nuts. $600,000, are you kidding me? In non-mortgage related debts? Can you imagine what Dave Ramsey would say to me if he heard that story?
It's not logical. It's very illogical. I'm being nice. I'm trying not to say it's stupid. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
He would think I was out of my absolute mind in order to do that. And folks, it's the sole reason that we ended up with hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in income and completely debt-free. That's the path that worked the best for me. Now, I have to preface this by saying that if any of you have a habit or history of not following through on purchases of products and programs or services that you invest in, and they just simply sit on the shelf and collect dust, so to speak, this is not going to work. You will literally flatline. You'll have access to all of the millionaire resource units, but you will not gain any knowledge translating then into the income because it's not going to get into your head. If you're not putting it to work, it doesn't work. If you're putting it to work, there is virtually no way you can fail making investments into other people's products, programs, or services, our coaching included. If all I did was help you get access to, say, a $25,000 debt weapon that you turned around and invested into something that returns for you $100, $200, $500, or $1 million every single year in income, then the investment you made into me was one of the best things you could have possibly done, even though I wasn't the end product, program, or service that you purchased in order to gain that new income stream. Which means that the difference between someone like myself and the amount of income and the results I'm able to have because of that income, and again, going back to what Dave Ramsey teaches, right? He teaches about holes and shovels, right? Your debt is the size of the hole that you're in, and the shovel is how big is your income. It's how big of a tool you have to get out of that hole. And when you are growing your progress and making headway to the point where you're earning tens of thousands per month or even 6 figures per month, Suddenly $600,000 worth of debt becomes extremely easy to manage, easy and fast to pay off. We paid off a $220,000 home last fall on this channel in literally 4.5 months. So keep in mind, guys, that you have complete control over this. The reason that so many people are having success now is because there are so many products, programs, and services that exist that allow you to do it. I have a general approach to how I will identify compatible products and programs for myself, and it will always boil down to reputation and longevity. I want to see social evidence, so proof of results based on other users' experiences. So I'm looking for those authentic testimonials. I'm looking for feedback. Things like Yelp or the Better Business Bureau I think are great, but you're gonna have to look a little deeper. I don't go straight to Yelp and take it at face value. I'm gonna go into the non-recommended reviews as well. And it's easy at this point to determine whether or not somebody can deliver on what they're selling. I'm not gonna go in and just recklessly throw around money and invest in every product, program, or service that exists, but I am definitely going to quickly pull out a credit card and make an investment in myself the moment I realize that something is in fact going to provide me stepping stones in those millionaire resource units to get me to that next hockey stick in my results and in my income. So guys, I hope this has given you something to consider regarding the 0 to Bezos scale. If you're making $1 million a year, you are 1% as successful as Jeff Bezos is per day. So congratulations on that. And it should give you an idea as to just what's possible here. If you're thinking $1 million a year, you're thinking way too small. We should all be thinking $100 million per year, not because we're selfish or greedy, but because we want to have a positive influence on this world for not just ourselves, but for everybody. And those of us with money have way more capability to do that than folks that don't have money. So get out there, earn that money, change the world, change your future. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Make sure you're a subscriber. And until then, make it a great day and take care.